Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. The next generation of consoles and gaming came out last year in November. I did a video on that and I was so excited when I got my Xbox Series X console. I was able to get it when it first came out to enjoy the promise of new gaming experiences. Experiences that are beyond your wildest dreams. But of course, 90% of the time you're disappointed because it is new technology. Games are still coming out for the last gen that are compatible with the next gen. Well, this time is different. This time is different because we had a pandemic that's still ongoing, not as bad as it was, but still there. And obviously, that created a problem for developers to work on games and next gen titles and all these things. But the thing that I've noticed is that the promise of next gen gaming is not here yet, and it's probably not going to be here until the end of the year or sometime next year. But you know what's here? You know what game developers have realized that they can do in order to make tons of money with very little effort? Remasters. This is the first time in my life that I have owned a console where companies are remastering games left and right. Almost we get one once a month or two a month. There are games that were just promised or announced. I'm talking about a possible Crysis Remaster 2, a remaster or Crysis 2. They just released the remaster of Crysis 1, the first Crysis, last year or at the beginning of the year. And like, really, we're ready for a Crysis 2 remaster already? Fine. Crytek, why don't you actually work on a new game instead of reselling us a game? Saints Row the Third is remaster is heading to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Look, I have played all the Saints Row's games, Saints Row 1, 2, and 3. I remember when Saints Row 1 came out and people were like, it's fun, and clearly it's a copy of Grand Theft Auto, and they're just a lower quality Grand Theft Auto. But that game actually grew into itself to become its own thing that it might not have started as a copy of Grand Theft Auto, but it became its own crazy, wild game in the vein of Grand Theft Auto. And Saints Row 3 was actually a really fun game. But do we need a remaster of Saints Row 3? No. Like, why? I still own Saints Row 3, and I think it's compatible with the Xbox in backwards compatibility, so I could go play it. Will the graphics be as amazing? Hell no. They're gonna probably look like trash. I haven't played it, but it probably will. We're getting a Saints Row 3 remastered. Grand Theft Auto 5. We're getting a remaster of Grand Theft Auto 5, a game that doesn't look bad at all. I played it using Game Pass doing xCloud when I was doing the xCloud testing. For the video, you can go here or the description section. And the game just looked good. The game didn't look bad. As old as that game might be, it still holds up. And that game still sells like hotcakes. Like, that game is usually in the top 10, top 20 list of games sold. Do we need a Grand Theft Auto 5 remaster? No, we don't. We just had Mass Effect Legendary Edition come out. All 3 games remastered. Yes, you have one package with all 3 games. Fine. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 was remastered and it came out. And it also just released recently for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. I'm talking about 3 games that are going to come out this year, 2 games that already came out this year, and I'm not talking about all the other remaster games that just came out between November of last year and May of this year. It's an incredible amount of remaster games. And I understand why developers are doing it. As I said earlier, it's a great way of making money. You have a franchise that is proving to make money because developers aren't going to put effort and time into a game that didn't sell well to begin with, right? So they're going to pick up a game that already sold well to begin with. Mass Effect sold so well that they made 3 games in that franchise. because it made sense to make it because the franchise was making money every game. Same thing with Saints Row, same things with GTA, same thing with Crisis. So we're grabbing something that we already sold people and we made millions and millions of dollars in it. All we have to do is polish it up. New graphics, new textures, tweak the gameplay a little bit here and there to fix some things that weren't right the first time around. Then we put it out and sell it. Of course, they don't sell it at full price because it will be crazy to sell you a game that is just being remastered for $70, right? So they sell it at a lower price, $30, $40. And they add all the downloadable content and whatever content came out that you probably didn't have. It makes sense from a business standpoint because you're making money twice on something and it requires very low amount of investment on your part as the studio. The other reason why they make it is one, nostalgia, because if you have played the game before and for some reason you don't have the disc anymore, or if you bought the downloadable version of the game and for some reason you don't have it in your console anymore, you have access to it anymore, like PlayStation owners, for example, you are probably likely to rebuy that game to play it again. Play it by yourself, or if you're old enough and you have kids, to probably play it with your kids. And that's the second reason. Kids. There is a whole generation of gamers who didn't get to experience any of these games. And most of these games that I just mentioned, in one way or another, are iconic games. These are games that people talks about all the time. Games that people reference in interviews or compare them to with other games and things like that. And I'm sure there's a whole generation of people who have never gotten a chance to play those games, who have heard about those games, who have seen images of those games or videos of those games, who would like to play it themselves. So it will make sense that a developer will put a new coat of paint on those games to sell it to that generation and, to obviously get new people involved in the franchise. So when there's a new game for that franchise, they have more people to buy the game. 100% business move, genius. My concern is that this isn't the reason why I bought an Xbox Series X. I didn't buy an Xbox Series X, and I'm sure you didn't buy an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5 to replay games that you already played that just look better than they did before. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 just came out on Game Pass a month ago, if I'm not mistaken. Meaning that anyone who hasn't played Grand Theft Auto 5 before can go and play it right now for the cost of the membership from Game Pass. Is that going to stop people from buying the game when it comes out remastered? No, there's going to be tons of people that are going to buy it again because, hey, it looks nicer and prettier. Where are these next-gen games? How is it that we're getting all these remastered games, but we're not getting any next-gen games? And I know the PS5 has gotten Spider-Man Miles Morales and Returnal. So, but that's what, 2 games? Maybe I'm missing 1 or 2, but there's not a plethora of next-gen games that has come out for the PS5 or the Xbox Series X. The Xbox Series X had Medium, I think, and I don't think they had anything else. And I get it. You're probably like, well, Carlos, E3 is going to happen, and that's when all the announcements are going to happen. Okay, sure, maybe. But rumors are that a lot of games on Xbox aren't coming out until 2022. So that's one thing. We haven't heard anything from Sony either. Deathloop got pushed farther towards the end of the year. Ubisoft just came out and said that they're delaying their games until next year. So why was this rush of companies to sell us a next-gen console that there weren't any games for? And yes, if you have an Xbox, you're going to get to play Halo, or if you have Game Pass when it comes out at the end of the year. But what other games do we have to look forward to, right? And it is a little frustrating to be the owner of a next-gen console and all you see splashed everywhere is, hey, remaster this and remaster that and remaster this. And it's like, can we stop with the remasters? I understand that you can make a lot of money out of remasters, but how about you focus on giving us new next-gen experiences, which is the whole point why we bought these consoles, for a next-gen gaming experience that we are just not getting. It's fun to play games on 120 hertz, like Call of Duty and Warzone, and adding the boost on frame rates on older games like Xbox is doing with their program, but still not enough. We're still playing older games. The whole point of this video is that I needed to get this out of my chest, right? I've been thinking about it, I've been reading about it, and just getting more frustrated and more frustrated. Like, okay, you're giving me all these remaster games. And again, I think those games are backwards compatible with the Xbox. So Crisis looks great as it is. How much better can you make it look? Because Crisis, the first Crisis that they just remastered, looks okay, but it wasn't something that you were like, holy shit, look at that thing. Can you believe what that game looks like? I'm just hoping that when E3 rolls around, that we're going to have big announcements of games that are next gen games that we can finally put into our next gen consoles to enjoy and to experience that thing that we've been promised. And I know that 90% of that is marketing crap. I know I'm not going to be blown away. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, hold my hat, because my brain is going to blow out when I play this game. I know that's not going to be the case, but I just want to be able to use my console for what it was made for. What do you think? Are you looking forward to these remastered games? Do you agree with me? If you own a next-gen console, are you thinking like, why did I get this for? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.